The ocean was endless. The sky burned orange. A broken ship floated on silent waves. A man stood alone on the deck. His name was Odysseus. He had survived war, but not peace. His eyes carried 10 years of pain. His heart carried one promise: to return home. The Trojan War was over. Kings returned to kingdoms. Soldiers returned to families. Odysseus returned to exile. The gods were angry with him, not for his strength, but for his intelligence. He had outsmarted destiny, and destiny never forgives. His ship sailed through cursed waters. His crew sang to stay alive, but fear lived in every breath. Odysseus watched the horizon. He knew monsters were real, and mercy was rare. The first island appeared, beautiful, silent, dead. They landed. Flowers glowed. Air smelled sweet. Men laughed. Then they forgot their names. The lotus had poisoned their minds. Odysseus dragged them back, kicking, crying, begging to stay. He saved them, but they hated him for it. The sea grew darker. Storms whispered warnings. The next land was stone, mountains shaped like skulls. The Cyclops lived there, a giant with one eye, a god's mistake, a demon's child. The monster killed 2 men, crushed them like insects. Odysseus did not cry. He planned. He blinded the beast, but spoke his name with pride. That pride cursed him. Poseidon heard, and the sea turned against him. Waves attacked like soldiers. Ships shattered. Men drowned. Odysseus survived. Always survived. He reached another shore. A woman waited. Circe, beautiful, dangerous. She turned men into animals. Odysseus stood unafraid, his mind stronger than magic. She fell in love with him. He stayed for a year, not from weakness, but from exhaustion. Then he left, because home still waited. He entered the land of the dead, spoke with spirits, heard his fate: suffer, lose, return alone. He accepted it. The Sirens sang. His men tied him to the mast. He screamed for death, but lived. Scylla took 6 men. Charybdis almost took all. His crew disobeyed the gods. They killed sacred cattle. Lightning destroyed the ship. Only Odysseus survived. He floated for days, nights, tears, silence. He reached Calypso, a goddess. She loved him. She offered immortality. He refused because he wanted home, not heaven. Years passed. Gods argued. Athena defended him. He was finally released. He returned to Ithaca, disguised as a beggar. His house was stolen. His wife surrounded by enemies. Penelope waited, faithful, broken, strong. Odysseus watched her and cried. Odysseus lowered his head. No one recognized him, not his servants, not his guards, not even his son. Time had changed his face. Pain had changed his soul, but his heart remained loyal. The palace was loud. Suitors laughed. They drank his wine. They wore his clothes. They hunted his throne. Penelope sat silently, beautiful, tired, still waiting. Odysseus watched from shadows. Every laugh cut him. Every insult burned him. A servant kicked him, called him worthless. Odysseus stayed silent, because revenge needs patience. Athena appeared in disguise. She touched his shoulder. His eyes cleared. His back straightened. Strength returned to his bones. She whispered, "Tonight the king returns." Telemachus entered the hall, taller, stronger, still searching for his father. Odysseus recognized his walk. His breath stopped. He wanted to run. He wanted to shout. He didn't. Not yet. Penelope announced a challenge. Whoever can bend Odysseus' bow will be my husband. The suitors laughed. One tried, failed. Another tried, failed. Hands shook. Pride collapsed. The beggars stepped forward. They mocked him. Penelope watched carefully. Something in his eyes felt familiar. Odysseus held the bow. His fingers remembered. The bow bent easily. Silence fell. He aimed. He released. The arrow flew through 12 rings. Perfect. Odysseus stood tall. Athena removed his disguise. The king returned. Fear entered the room. Odysseus spoke. Your feast is over. The massacre began. Arrows flew. Swords clashed. Blood touched the floor. The suitors begged. Odysseus did not listen, because justice does not negotiate. Telemachus fought beside him. Father and son, united by fate, the hall became silent. Bodies lay still. Ithaca was free. Odysseus dropped his weapon. His hands trembled. He was tired of killing. Penelope stood slowly. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She tested him. Tell me about our bed. Odysseus smiled softly. He described the olive tree. Only he knew. Penelope fell into his arms. Tears finally came. Years disappeared. Pain softened. Love returned. The night felt warm. The house felt alive again. But peace is never permanent. Families of the suitors gathered. They wanted revenge. Odysseus prepared again. Athena descended. She raised her hand. Time stopped. Enough blood, she said. Let peace rule. The enemies lowered weapons. Ithaca was finally calm. Odysseus looked at the sky. He whispered thanks. He had lost friends. He had lost years. But he had not lost himself. He walked beside Penelope. Their hands touched. Their souls healed. Telemachus followed proudly. The king had returned, not as a warrior, but as a husband, as a father, as a man. Odysseus looked at the sea. The sea no longer looked angry. It looked peaceful. He smiled, because the journey was finally over. But the legend had just begun. Stories would be told. Songs would be sung. Names would be remembered. Children would learn, not about his strength, but about his patience, his intelligence, his loyalty, his love. Odysseus had proven something, that heroes are not born in war. They are born in survival. He sat on his throne, but he no longer needed it, because his heart was full. Penelope smiled beside him. Telemachus stood proudly. The kingdom breathed again. The sea whispered softly. The gods were silent. The world rested. Odysseus closed his eyes, not in death, but in peace. The journey had ended. The story had begun. A story of loss, of faith, of return. A story called the Odyssey, not about monsters, but about home, not about gods, but about humans, not about power, but about love. Odysseus breathed deeply. The king was finally home. The ocean slept. The stars watched. The world remembered. And history smiled. The journey was complete. The legend was eternal. The heart was at peace. The story was over and forever alive.